All right, welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Country artist Lee Brice is coming to War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale in September. I forgot to give away the tickets yesterday, so I got 2 pairs today to give away to Lee Brice. If you guys want to go see him, that'll be coming your way later on today. It's a Live Nation show. Marcos is back in the saddle today. He was very upset during the break, Leroy. Do you want to get into Leroy why you're upset?
Livid.
Why?
I'm sure Leroy's gonna somehow find a way to disprove this. But as we all know, Mavericks got the cold envelope this year, which they
Super
only had 1.8% chance of getting. Do you know who was previously slotted in that number 11 position before winning 2 meaningless games at the end of the season?
Meaningless. I mean, it was meaningful for Davion Mitchell.
I mean, yeah, great.
Yes, I'm aware it was the heat spot, Frog Boy.
So with that being said, I think we have to add this to the list of things that Eric Spoelstra did wrong this year. And I'm personally taking all the blame that we no longer have a chance at Cooper Flag. I don't even think we're going to get our first pick, correct? That goes to Golden State?
No, our pick went to OKC. We have the 20th pick from Golden State.
Oh, okay. So,
but if we would have given that pick up, we would have been out to dry for the next 2 picks because they would have been unprotected next year. Now you may say, who cares? We got Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Maybe we would have had Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag.
Maybe
without giving up anybody. We're talking about a player that could potentially change your team at a cheap rate because he's a rookie. So we can go before
he is cheap.
The Super Max, Maxi, Super Max, whatever. We have an opportunity to change that. But no, we got to win those games.
Can I just say this?
So you want?
Can I just
games?
Please,
your eyes, dude.
Can I just say this? There is nothing in this world that pisses me off than a loser talking about losing.
What?
Yeah.
You heard.
Nothing pisses you off more than a loser wanting to lose more?
Yeah.
That's what pisses you off the most?
That mentality.
Interesting.
You've been competing your whole life. Dude, if you've been competing your whole life, you get on that floor and you want to win. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care what the situation is. For people to just assume that all these guys are just going to go out there and say, hey, it would be better if we got a higher draft pick. Let's just go lose. You can't tell me we wouldn't have sat in here the next day and called them all bums.
Nah, I don't know.
Stop.
Oh, no.
Stop.
Like,
I want no part of this.
You can want
These guys
no part
been
of
competing their whole life. And
okay,
you
let me
say,
ask you this.
Just go lose.
If the Sixers end up getting,
and what did I tell you about the Sixers?
What
did I tell you about the Sixers? They will never win because they have a culture of losing, and that organization has.
What about the Mavericks? Okay. The Mavericks did it the year beforehand. They tanked the end of the season, didn't make the playoffs, got Derek Lively, made the finals.
Okay.
It happened. It does. It has benefited teams before.
Everyone does it except for the Miami Heat.
I just think this part. I think if they were going to do it, they should have done it after the 10-game losing streak.
For sure.
Because the 6-game win streak, it was a bowl league win streak. The only legitimate wins were beating Jimmy and beating the Celtics. Everybody else, it was a bunch of Hornets and Wizards. It meant nothing.
Really?
I don't understand. Make up your mind. You want your team to win when you go watch them, or you want them to lose?
No, I'm just saying, like, when you look at a 6-game win streak, Leroy, if you have a win streak built on Hornets and Wizards, it's not a win streak.
Like, okay. Like that absolutely drives me crazy that you're okay with. We were okay with the Dolphins losing. Right?
People were okay with the Dolphins.
All you would have did was
people were okay with the Dolphins losing. The only people who weren't okay with the Dolphins losing was ESPN, who the entire year was saying they were a danger to players, and yet somehow the Bengals got to sneak in there with a worse record and was like, yeah. Which, by the way, it did nothing for Brian Flores. If anything, apparently it did worse for him for not tanking enough because he claimed that he was getting offered bonuses for losing.
All right. Yeah, Warriors tanked a few years to get Wiseman. How'd that work out?
Okay, well, they picked the wrong guy, and they don't like their picks anyway.
Yeah, that's just bad drafting. I mean, they could have
worked. He was the second best player in that draft.
Well, sometimes you
No,
get
he was
Beasley.
projected to be the second best player in the draft. He stunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You don't know that when you draft him.
You should have known it.
Okay.
Didn't Anthony Edwards just come out and say when they had the second pick? I think that was that. I think this was the draft. He said that if we had the first pick, he told Ant-Man we wouldn't take you.
Yeah, I think that did come out. Exactly.
Maybe they're just bad at drafting.
I mean, so much in basketball is slotted. Very rarely do you have too much of a reach in basketball. Football's different.
Spurs tanked for Wemby.
The Spurs did tank for Wemby. That's true.
And then look, they got the 2 rookie of the years back to back, and now they have another pick. What's going on here? What's going on here?
All right.
No,
All right. So you guys would have been fine with that.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, look, I will say, I'll say, well, Leroy,
it literally turns my stomach. I BS you not.
But
it is the worst trait of
but the Heat don't feel that way. Like Pat Riley just came out and admitted we've only tanked twice in our life. We did it wrong when we got Dwayne Wade because they won that last game, which flipped them from 4 to 5, which ended up getting him D Wade instead of Bosh. So do you look at the Heat and you know how they feel? You don't think that some organizations like the Spurs are owed the benefit of the doubt? It's not like they're the Hornets or they're the Sixers. You don't get a reset season. So if the Heat did do that, nobody would look down on the Heat and say, you know what? Even like they admitted when they flipped it around and went 30-11. Great story. Never made the playoffs.
Right.
And they ended up paying Dion Waiters and James Johnson. Okay, eventually they got Jimmy Butler. But also, they could have gone that route. He admitted they were maybe thinking about tanking that year. Like, I think if any organization is owed it from the fans of being like, oh, yeah, I could understand. Even if they did it this year. Like, I don't know.
Why are you making fans so understanding all of a sudden?
We're pretty understanding if you're trying to get Cooper Flag.
Come on.
I'll be like, well, number 10.
All you would hear is we suck. We're so bad. Spo needs to go. This guy needs to go. This player's a bum. This is that. You wouldn't hear, we're going to get a better pick.
But they're saying that anyway.
I literally said all
it's literally bought them not. It didn't buy them anything this year, and they didn't get. And by the way, they deserve the criticism for this year. They stunk.
Sure,
right.
But
Waves and rocks. Hey, by the way, I noticed that too. Why is James Johnson still in the league?
I think just enforcement
because he's dangerous.
I think he's just there to scowl at the other bench. If
I got you.
You fire James Johnson. I'm not going to do it.
That had to be a scary call.
I get it. I'm just saying. Where
do you want to go, James?
As a player, that it turns my stomach to think that there are players or organizations that say it's okay to lose. I don't mean, listen, you could be bad, right? But
that's the thing is the Heat were bad. Like they weren't good this year.
They weren't
a good team. They had a cataclysmic thing happen with their star.
Now,
so if the Heat would have gone from the losing streak and would have just kept said, hey, Bam, go get a back thing. He goes, what? Yeah, go get your hip checked on.
Yeah.
Here's what I would have said, though.
I feel like your back hurts.
And here's when I would have accepted it. And I said this all year. You're 5 games under 500. Just put Khalil in there and let him take his lumps. Put Pella in there and let him take his lumps. Pella got hurt. You see what I'm saying?
You're not full-blown tanker, but you'll do it for like a straight. Be like, you know what? Let's take the gas off the pedal, boys. Cruise control.
I would have played the young guys because I would have been better off next year, even though I wasn't as good this year. That's a different situation.
Here's the thing, though, Marcos. Look, I get it, and I got attacked by the kids on Twitter.
Wow.
Which is what I'm referring to them now as, the stupid kids on Twitter. Okay. And they say, take more copium, bruh.
Copium?
Yeah. That's a drug where you cope.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And yes, I am coping. You want to know why?
Well,
I need to cope.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'll tell myself is the Heat weren't getting the number 1 pick. Because I think, I hate to say this, I genuinely think it's fixed.
For sure.
I genuinely think it's fixed. I think that it's either fixed on 2 cases. One, Luka Doncic getting traded to the Lakers for that is patently absurd.
Yep.
It's absurd. It's absurd that's what he got traded for.
Yeah.
Okay? It is. I'm sorry. Everybody thought that it was fake. Nobody can believe that stupidity. This poor guy had to go with security his entire next few months because of how everybody's like, how do you not get it's not even that you got that. You didn't even get more from the Lakers, and you should have gotten more. It's so silly. And all of a sudden, wink, 1.8%, you get the number one pick. Because it's either two things. One, the entire Lakers Luka thing was a ruse because they're the flagship franchise and they want to make sure they got a post LeBron plan. Okay. And so they're like, hey, we got you. Or they saw how pissed people were about it because this guy was so dumb. And they're like, we got to calm people down in Dallas. So, yeah, I just don't believe the Heat would have gotten that pick. They just wouldn't have. It was going to Dallas. It was a frozen ping pong ball. Yeah. It was going that way.
Now,
I do feel
Smeathan makes a point. Sitting vets to play young guys is literally what tanking is. Not in this instance, because Smeathan, I've been saying it all year. And my reasons behind it was, if you know this year isn't where you want to be, I don't want to go into next year playing the same game of hoping or wondering whether the young guys can play. And this team didn't have a whole bunch of vets anyway that were playing well. So it's kind of a situation where, let me see what my young guys can do. Now, a couple of them got hurt, and that kind of maybe put the Knicks on that. But I would have been playing where every night I would have been coaching him up, letting him take his lumps, and then in the offseason, showing him all that and saying, this is where we need to get better. But that's a different situation.
What you're doing, you're splitting hairs. Like, what
I'm not.
You are. It's essentially.
Wait, who would you have played?
If you obviously you would play your young guys, but if you're doing that, wink, because Bam, hey Bam, go rest your hip for the rest of the season.
No, I'm not saying instead of Bam.
Oh. Well, I am telling you that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, because you're acting like Colossal didn't play at the end of the season. He played basically through the middle of the season, Leroy.
Okay.
He did.
Yeah, some nights he got 3 minutes.
Not the most nights he played significant minutes. He did. So you're saying he's going to play 38 minutes a night instead of 28 minutes a night. Like, that's what you're saying. And Bam, go rest your hip. Tyler, go rest.
No, I wouldn't do that though.
Okay.
I'm just saying I would have played the young guys more to like, if you're not here, I don't want to go into next year with the same questions I have this year about the young guys. Because now you're almost just like resetting and doing it all over again.
Yeah, but I'd say you have more questions about your vets now than you do of anybody, than even more of the young.
And you always did.
Like, but that's the point. But you don't understand that's everybody's point on it. And I'm not a guy who, like, again, I think there was a through line here of where it could have been for the Heat, and it was after losing 10 straight, and it should have been like, hey, do we pull the plug on this thing? And only the Heat, being as stupid as they were this year, responded with a 10-game losing streak with a 6-game win streak, though it was built on crappy teams. And so you were in this no man's land of like, are we going to be bad or are we going to be mediocre playing? Because there was a time where they could have like fell below the Raptors and all those teams, which didn't even end up getting the ping pong balls. But you would have understood it because that team has, like, they get the benefit of the doubt. You know what the team and the franchise is about. Now it's almost like you're clinging to what you feel like is winning basketball, when really all they really built, Leroy, this year, they were the worst fourth quarter team in the league by every metric.
Yeah.
All you did was reinforce how bad you are at winning and how bad and how you continue to have losing habits. So I don't think you're holding on to anything that's really beneficial. Like you're holding on to this thing of honor that's not really there for the Heat.
It's not about honor, it's about competitiveness. Like, it's about,
but they're not competitive. They lose in the fourth quarter every game. They didn't compete.
All right. I can't ever get you guys to understand where I'm coming from, simply because we come from two different places. And that's fine. But I've played on 3 and 13 teams. One, it was the worst, like the worst. And I never went on the field.
Who'd you get in the draft that year, the next year?
Eric Turner.
How good was he?
He was good. He was good.
Did he help you the next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to a Pro Bowl.
You feel like you guys built losing habits the last year, or you feel like you were able to bounce back?
No, we didn't. No, see, that's just it. We were bad. Well, we didn't get a chance to build losing habits because they fired everybody.
Highest drafted defensive back in NFL history.
Eric Turner.
2008 Hall of Fame, UCLA.
Take a break. One team that doesn't tank right now. The Cats. Woo! They're back out tonight. Back after this.